I'm Sarah. I'm a yoga teacher currently in Vietnam, and today I'm going to talk you through a short tutorial on how to do headstand pose. So before you do this one, you might want to just make sure you're warmed up in the body, so maybe you practice this after doing a bit of warm-up or other asana practice, and then I'll talk you through the steps. So there's a few ways to do this one actually. So the version we often start with is creating a triangle base with the forearms, so the hands clasp here. So your elbows and forearms are on the ground in this sort of triangle base shape, and then we're bringing the back of the head to the hands and the crown of the head is on the ground. From there I'm going to lift the hips up and I'll start to walk the feet as far as I can up towards the head. There'll come a point when I can't go any further because the hamstrings won't allow, but you want to try and get as far forward as you can, because that's bringing the hips as high stacked onto the shoulders as possible. That's going to mean you've got less to sort of lift yourself up into that upright position. So once you're there, you then just start to get a little bit of balance. So I'm just going to start to bring the knees off, bend the knees and bring the feet off and start to come to balance. And this might be just where you stay today. That might be as far as you go. Once you've got the balance there, you can straighten up the legs. I'll talk you through just the other version with the hands. So this might be something you then progress on to. We're going to create a similar triangle base. That's a strong foundation, that tripod. This time the hands come about shoulder distance apart and the head is going to come to that top of the triangle point. So I'll bring the crown of the head down, hands are firmly at the sides, and same thing, I lift up the hips, I try to walk as far forward as I can. And notice I'm not jumping into this, I'm just lightly lifting one knee and the other. And again, maybe I stay there, or maybe I start to extend the legs up and come into that straight line. Once you've got the balance with the knees into the chest, it's not too much more difficult to start to straighten up the legs. You want to keep the core engaged, keep the legs active, and the weight, a lot of the weight is actually in the hands. So even though it's called headstand, I'm trying to have as little weight as possible onto the head really, and it's all in the arms really. So the head is there just helping the balance. So you can traditionally stay here for about 10 breaths or so. Then when you're ready to come down, carefully start to come down, and then just bring yourself back down onto the ground. And the child's pose is a good counterbalance. You might want to bring the arms alongside just to relax the shoulders, and you can just stay there until you come back to your breath, until you've rested. So when you're practicing the headstand, it can be a little bit daunting because there is that risk that if you don't quite have the balance, you could tip forward. I would recommend, if you feel yourself falling, it is better to just fall straight forward because you'll just sort of roll out of it and do a forward roll. The worst thing you can do is sort of wiggle out of it and trying to stop the fall and go to the side really, because your neck is in quite a vulnerable position. You don't want to really twist or fall to the side because you could hurt your neck, even though that's often our instinct to try and stop the fall. What I do recommend doing though, if you are starting to practice this one, is try it against a wall. That way when you go up, you're only going to hit the wall if you fall a little bit out of balance. And then once you're comfortable there practicing against the wall, you just start to try the balance off the wall, so bring the feet off, and then eventually you can move back away from the wall and practice in the middle of the room. Also be careful if you're practicing around other people as well. I hope you found that useful. For more yoga videos and inspiration, you can follow me at Sarah Lucy Yoga. Thank you very much for joining me today. Namaste.